So we've got a really special session here. I wanted to play you some music first. Hopefully, it'll come through on the broadcast nicely, and then get started.
I will carry you through these changes. 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 Ve'at seva, ani esbo. Ve'at seva, ani esbo. Ve'at seva, ani esbo. Ve'at seva, ani esbo. I will carry you through these changes. Ani esbo. These changes. Ani esbo. These
So I hope you enjoyed that. That's the beautiful singing and music of Rena Branson, who is a young singer, songwriter, composer, specialist in the nigun. If you can see, I'm trying to avoid this light behind my head, or just cover it. So anyway, she is was a guest of mine during my nigun class that I did last semester in Skolnick, and this is her album, and I highly recommend checking it out. renabranson.bandcamp.com. That's RENABRANSON. They, I should say, are doing a Nigun class actually coming up in February, which I'm going to be taking. And if you want information on that, I can give it to you. But what I wanted to talk about today was, by way of that song, friendship and the quality of friendship as it's explored in Jewish tradition in Musar. So we have some teachings from the Talmud, and of course, this song itself bears a prophetic text. So in the English, of course, she's just saying, I will carry you through these changes, which sort of saying or referring to changes of age, like aging. But the text that they're using in the song, comes from Isaiah. And the translation is, when you turn gray, I'll still carry you, be patient with you, or bear you, which is a beautiful idea. We, of course, know all about, the respect for the I don't want to say elderly is not a nice word in English. The sage, like the Sanhedrin, of course, was made of the elders and the ancient law body of the Jewish people, and of course we know that we rely on our elders for wisdom, and that many of the parents in the Torah were parents of what they call old age, that having children at an older age was considered some kind of prize, or considered Joseph himself was born to Jacob, and it says that he was born to him at a riper age. So there's this sense of sweetness, of beauty about an older age, and that a child born to somebody at an older age, there's something sweet and precious about them as well. So the Hebrew here from Isaiah is Ve'ad Seva Ani Esbol, which means until your, and they use this word a lot in the Torah, until your hair turns gray, I will endure you. Esbol, sovel, is to endure something. In modern Hebrew is to suffer something, although obviously it's a kinder translation here. I will bear you upon me, I think is the best translation. I will bear you upon me. So here's a teaching for you. This is from the Babylonian Talmud. When the legendary miracle worker Honi, the circle maker, woke from 70 years of sleep, he faced despair because he was shunned by a new generation of scholars who neither recognized nor attended to him. In his suffering, Honi prayed for death to release him from loneliness, prompting an unnamed sage to utter either friendship or death. And so this is sort of striking. Of course, those of us who are Americans think of give me liberty or give me death, but so striking to think about friendship this way, in this context of the extremity of loneliness, right? Because what's the opposite of having friendship? The opposite of having friendship is the lack of friendship, which leads one to being lonely. And of course, you could have easily said either loneliness, either friendship or death, friendship or loneliness. So that, in other words, death is better than loneliness for perhaps this sage and many of us. Would be a better fate than loneliness. And so we love our friends. We treasure our friends. They're dear to us. And I'm sure those of you who are logging in, watching right now, are nodding your heads or muttering to yourself in agreement, because all of us survive spiritually because of our friends. One of the things I'm studying in a group of clergy, which part of which this is what I'm bringing to you. I'll have to try and fix this, but I don't think that's really helping. Part of what I'm bringing to you is sort of some of these ideas that we've been studying, is that there's different kinds of friendship. So one can have a friend who is like a casual, useful friend who picks up your mail or picks up boxes off your porch. One can have a friend, like a pleasantness friend, meaning that you might go bowling or go to the movies. But there's also a tradition of having, it says, uknei lecha chaver, which means to acquire for yourself. So acquire for yourself, like you would purchase something. It's the same verb in Hebrew. Uknei lecha chaver, acquire for yourself a friend. And this friend is referred to as being a spiritual friend, like a spiritual advisor type of friend, the kind of friend who can hold up a mirror to you, and who will allow you to grow in the way that you need to grow. So this is another teaching sort of on top of the idea of friendship and loneliness, friendship or death. And while we do our first sort of silent meditation here, instead of it being completely silent, I'm going to go back here, and so I'll just sort of allow us to enjoy this track, I Will Carry You. And it has an opening section of beautiful acoustic guitar, and then when the song ends, they sort of like spontaneously sort of take it up again. In the studio, you can sort of hear them laughing and taking it up again, which is, of course, appropriate because the studio has engendered friendship amongst the musicians. So here we are. And when the track is over, we'll just keep going a little bit with our meditation, and just think about maybe one of your best friends, what they mean to you, and how they help you grow.
Ani espo veat seva. Ani espo veat seva. Ani espo. I will carry you. Try to say that. Ani espo. Try to say that. Ani espo. Through these I will carry you through these changes. I will carry you through.
Might have a technical issue here.
Carry you through these changes.
So, part two of friendship study here. The calendar has just turned to Rosh Chodesh. In fact, today was Rosh Chodesh. Tonight will begin a new day, the first new day of the month after the holiday, so to speak. And when there's a Shabbat with Rosh Chodesh the next day, there's traditionally a special Haftorah that's read in place of that week's normal reading. It's called Machar Chodesh. And Machar Chodesh just means tomorrow is the new month. And there's a beautiful story of friendship between Jonathan and David. Jonathan, of course, was the son of King Saul, who wanted to kill David because David was prophesied to ascend to the throne. And so this is a quote from their conversation, their famous conversation, which is memorialized in this Haftarah, the words of Samuel, or the recounting of Samuel. It says the following: "May the Eternal be witness between you and me forever." David, that's Jonathan speaking to David. David emerged from his concealment. He flung himself down on the ground and bowed low 3 times. They kissed each other and wept together. David wept the longer. Jonathan said to David, "Go in peace, for we two have sworn to each other in the name of the Eternal. May the Eternal be witness between you and me, and between your offspring and mine forever." David then went his way, and Jonathan returned to the town. I remember when I was younger, maybe in college, my brother and I am a twin. I don't know how many people watching this know that or not. Identical. We used to have like partings like this when we were in college. I remember because we would go back to school, we didn't really know when the next time was that we would be able to spend so much time together. Life was changing quickly. Sometimes somebody had a spring break. Sometimes somebody had a friend they were going to visit out of state, something like that. And it just felt like we were losing the sweetness and the beauty of what our relationship had been growing up as brothers. And even though Jonathan and David weren't blood brothers, they were brothers in this way. And I understand the feeling here of losing this sense of this divine bond that you have with somebody like this. My brother and I used to cry when we would part from each other before we go back to school. Just this, I think that just out of the sense of loss, that each time that we said goodbye, it was just saying goodbye a little bit more to something that we couldn't reclaim. And the friendship between these two, Jonathan and David, is sort of the eternal paragon of friendship. Of course, they're not saying what the song says in the beginning here, when you turn gray, I'll bury you till you turn gray, but it calling God as a witness between you and me, between your offspring and mine forever, is not only setting your friendship up to go your lifetime, to go several lifetimes. And one form of friendship that is sort of less obvious here is not sort of just the horizontal that we have in our lifetimes, but the vertical, what we learn from our ancestors, the kind of spiritual friend an ancestor can be to us. And so that's the title of another track here of Rena's beautiful album. It's called, appropriately, Lador Vador. And we'll listen to it now.
Ledor Vador, ancestors sing from the waters. Vador, children shout from the trees. Generations to come demand that we act now to heal the earth for all to thrive under the sun. Vador, ancestors share their wisdom. Vador, children take the lead. Generations to come demand that we act now to heal the earth for all to thrive under the sun. Vador, Vador, ancestors call for justice. Vador, children chant for peace. Generations to come demand that we act now to heal the earth for all to thrive under the sun. To heal the earth for all to thrive under the sun.
That was a beautiful song, and of course they turned it into a nigun at the end there. Rena happens to be the scion of a Hasidic, at least one Hasidic parent. I know that, if not grandparents as well. If you didn't get the words, it says Lador Vador, ancestors sing from the waters and share their wisdom, call for justice. So it's a song about justice and a song about climate change and healing the earth. But the friendship aspect is that I feel like Jonathan and David's example also calls for us to befriend each other, right? To come in and to be with each other as well. And that Rena's also speaking vertically about what will be expected of us as the generations go down. Our responsibility to the future. So as we come into sort of meditation number 2, let's just take 3 or 4 minutes to do some thinking about what kind of a friend we can be to our tradition, what kind of a friend we can be, a steward we can be to the world. That when we go out into the world, that we are practicing friendship and selflessness. And living in Jonathan and David's example. So as we come out, we'll bring this session to an end. Really hope to be able to share some of this music in person next Monday night. Thanks for all of you for your messages. If you sent me a note about my poor ankle, I think it'll be okay. Just need some rest. Ledor vador, children cry for justice. Ledor vador, children ask for peace. Ledor vador, children cry for justice. Ledor vador. Amen. Thanks for joining me for this session of practicing mindfulness. Sorry for some of the technical visual difficulties, but we did it. And we'll see you next week, hopefully in the chapel. Have a great night.